What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a very, very special edition. We are honored, humbled, and grateful to have a long-awaited guest, man, and to update y'all on the Gyms and Juice lore. We never really wanted this podcast to be like a guest-based podcast at first, because this got things to do and things happen. But we did have a wish list originally when we started this podcast, man. And our very first guest was Jack Freeman. The very talented Jack Freeman. We got in touch with him. He's become a friend of the show. But I remember on that first day we had Jack Freeman, we said, man, if you can, put in a word with your boy, Arian Foster, dog. Let's see if he can do the podcast, man. So we finally made it happen, man. We finally linked up and we doing it live and in full effect. And we are joined by the very talented musician, talented podcaster, and of course, still the greatest running back in Houston Texans history. Joining us today, Arian Foster is on the Gyms and Juice podcast, man. We made it happen. Yes. Round of applause. So, Arian, I got to ask you the most important thing first, man. How the fuck you gonna fight a wolf with your bear? I'm just playing. So the main thing we ask our guests, man, especially after the pandemic, is how have you been lately, mentally, spiritually, physically? The lockdown and the pandemic and COVID has really affected everybody in a different way. So how have you been, and how has it affected your creative process when you recording or streaming or whatever you've been doing? How have you been these past few months?
Yeah, man, I've been it's been a wild year for everybody, but I mean, I think I've been a little bit more fortunate than most people. So I think I was in quarantine before all of this happened because I'm kind of a homebody. But I think it's weighed heavy on everybody, man. Just emotionally. If you just look at politically, just everything that's going on in the country, and you can't help but be involved from that aspect. And so and of course everybody got personal stuff that they're going through as well, which is tough. But I just try to take things relatively. I've had I've been lucky in my life, and so I'm grateful, but it's still the times weigh heavy on me as well.
I feel you, man. And we didn't really get to talk to a whole lot of people about the whole George Floyd thing situation as well. But has that the event? I know, like it for a lot of people, it's more so this is America. We know what this country is. But has that, and seeing what's happened since we had this whole thing with the Capitol, has that changed your perspective any, like politically and socially, or is it just and we know what it is? What's your perspective on that?
Well, no, just validified it, right? Or solidified it. I was one of the players that knelt with Cap in 2016. Really, when the wave of social justice started to take form in this country, and just kind of seeing it build from there. I've stayed involved. I do things in local communities and stuff back home all the time, but to see it mainstream like this is kind of weird. Like, I mean, like when you see like Black Lives Matter on the NBA basketball courts, like I don't know, I still don't trust it. That's a whole separate conversation. But I mean, George Floyd was kind of like the tipping point for the country when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I think as Black folk, or certain type of Black folk, because not all skin folk and kin folk, but if you've experienced a certain type of experience in this country, you understand what it has been and what it's going to be until like real change is implemented on a policy level. And so we just looking at it from the sidelines and just doing my part to be a good citizen. You can't help but feel the effects of what's going on.
The NFL tweeting that MLK tweet kind of pissed me off a little bit when I seen that. It's just like, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like it's all for show at this point.
I've been on record saying that a bunch about the NFL is that they're not proactive, they're reactive, and they do things if it affects their bottom dollar. Like, so when Cap and us was kneeling, they were telling us to stand. They were supporting ownership that was chastising us. They were supporting ownership that gave money to a candidate that called us sons of bitches. And they didn't have our backs. But now, fast forward 4 or 5 years later, when it's savvy, it's cool, it's okay to socially conscious. And now you tweeting shit like this, and now you saying Black Lives Matter when that's all we were saying in the first place. And so, I mean, I get it. You know, they have to they have a business to run, but it's like anything else in this country, man. Business is usually bad morals.
Yeah, and that brings up too, man, because you mentioned that you were one of the players who knelt with Cap, and I always respected that, man. I respected the people, the ones who knelt when it was a real risk involved. You know, we saw what happened to Cap. You know, he's out the league when he shouldn't be. But now, what is your thoughts on kneeling now? Because there's a lot more pervasive in the NFL, and the NBA does some demonstrations as well. I kind of feel like, personally, even though I respect the players for doing it, I feel like it's kind of toothless now, because now you can do it with no repercussions, and it's kind of, you know, not a demonstration that it used to be. Now it's kind of, you know, Jerry Jones did it, man. Come on. So
he didn't do it. He didn't do it during. He did it.
Yeah,
before.
fair enough.
Yeah,
he did it before, but he's still like, now it's more of a photo op, I feel. So what are your thoughts on kneeling? Do you think it's still an important display for players to do, or do you think it's kind of, you know, played out at this point?
Well, I mean, I think the zeitgeist of America kind of views it as played out, but it's strictly contingent on that player, right? And so that's what protests are for. If that player feels like he wants to voice whatever he wants to voice, or whatever she wants to voice, then that's what protests are for. And I don't discourage it and I don't knock it. But to pretend like kneeling in 2021 is the same as it is kneeling in 2016, it's not the same. What the only thing I get upset about is if I see or hear players that were around then that are for it now, but they were silent then or didn't participate then. It just shows a little bit of it's just a little bit of disingenuousness, in my opinion. But it's like, no, it's no hard feelings, but it's just like, yo, because it was when we were doing it, it was like, yo, I lost family members because of that shit, like death threats. Like it was he was in the thick of it. And like we were looking for people to support us, like to help support. We literally had the president of the United States calling us sons of bitches. Like it was wild. And so we needed y'all then. And so now it's like you got all these corporate America brands saying Black Lives Matter and shit, and which is cool, which I believe them when they start putting money in our communities. That's when I believe them. But until then, it's just kind of like a farce. It's like it's easy to do now. It's easy to say because it's actually profitable.
I feel you, man. I feel the same way, honestly. I feel like it's become kind of a photo op and more of a, you know, it's not what it used to be. But what do you think? Do you think the NFL can really do anything at this point to kind of make the situation better in terms of how they handled the kneeling in the first place and how they've operated in terms of, you know, diversity? And is there anything they can do that would make it feel genuine, or is it always going to kind of have that feeling of, oh, y'all just doing it because it's hot now? Like, is there anything they can do that you believe would change the perception?
Oh yeah, they won't, but oh yeah, there's things they can do. They can donate specific money to the local communities in the cities that they represent, right? Like actually rebuilding schools, refurbishing neighborhoods, giving out scholarships to Black youth. Then they can ban their ownership. Because if you're an owner in the NFL, you can't donate to political campaigns, like shit like that. Then I'll believe it. But until then, it is what it is. You have a 80% of the NFL is Black, and you got 100%. Wait a minute, I think they have one owner who's
Shad Khan.
Yeah.
Non-white.
But the rest of them are white Republicans, and they donate to Republican campaigns. And it's like, they protecting their interests, and those interests go against the Black lives you say that matter. So I don't see it just looks like a front to me. So they can do things for sure, but they won't, because the NFL is all about money. That's all they care about. They used to, I mean, shit, they buried CTE studies.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care. They don't care about player safety. They don't give a fuck about none of that. All they care about is their bottom dollar, which is cool. That's the kind of world we live in. We live in a capitalist society where profit is above all else, and that's what shows.
I feel you, man. And I always kind of wondered, what's your relationship with football right now as well? Because I know you retired in 2016. And I think originally close to when you were done, but you were doing more things in terms of podcasts. I think you were on Rogan. You said at one point, if you could do it all over again, you probably wouldn't play football. Mm-hmm. You would probably study something else in college. So what is this extra time since retirement? Has your perspective changed? Do you still kind of feel like you could have done something else rather than play football, or I know you don't follow the game. You know, I knew I would never see you on Monday Night Countdown. I knew when you retired. I was like, you ain't gonna see him breaking down the game with McFarland. I knew I was never gonna see you there. Yeah. But has your relationship with the game changed, and do you watch it more, or is it still kind of, it's a time in your life that's gone now?
It's definitely a time in my life that's gone, so I don't follow it like I used to, right? Like I used to know everybody in the league, and when college players was coming up, I used to follow their careers. Like I was in love with the game. I think the perception of it has changed since I've been I was a cog in the wheel, so like it was kind of skewed my taste of it, and so I still have a lot of love and respect for the game. It changed, the trajectory of my life and my family's life, so I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to present it. Granted, I work for it, but as far as now, if there's a big game on, like I'll check out the AFC Championship games. I'm going to check out the Super Bowl, of course, playoff game, any kind of big game I want to see. If I like a player, I'll check it out. But I'm not stat watching. I'm in a fantasy league with a couple of with a lot of players that I used to play with, so I'll check the stats and stuff like that. But it's nothing that I'm like I don't care who wins, and I'm not like gung ho about like anybody. Like I'm just a fan. Like I just watch casually like any other fan.
That's how I watch. I think a lot of fans are way more invested, but I watch it the same way. I'm just passionate at this point, man. Especially growing up in Houston, I'm just like, whatever the result is, man, I'm rolling with it.
They wilding now. I don't know.
Hey, what was your thoughts when you seen Andre Johnson tweet what he tweeted? Because I think the whole world was shocked, man. Because dude haven't tweeted since like 2019.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, no, I came in the league 2009. That's when I got on Twitter. And I started following Dre when I got to Houston. Like he may have like 300 tweets total or some shit like that. I don't know. Like I've never seen him tweet. And if he does, it's like a retweet or he was posting Instagram or something like that. Like, but I've never seen him really tweet like that. His thoughts. And plus I know the cat, right? And so it's like he just don't have much to say. Like dog, I play with like I said, my rookie year, I didn't speak to the man until like mid-season. Like I just don't talk. And like when you're a rookie, like you don't got a lot to say to Dre, right? Undrafted rookie, like I just had nothing to say, and he didn't have nothing to say to me. So we don't really speak like that. But then like, once, I got to doing my thing, we got comfortable, and now it's my brother. But this one thing I know about Dre is that like anybody that knows him knows like if he talks, like you listen, because he don't have critiques. He's not out here for clout. Like he ain't trying to chase nothing. Like he speaks what he feels, and right now he feels like that organization is in disarray. And I mean, knowing what I know from it, it has been kind of on the free fall for a while now. But it was wild to see him voice himself like that in a public way, because that's usually not his style.
Yeah, I want to ask you about a specific part of his tweet too, man, because that always hit with me. And I always kind of wondered how the great players in Houston Texans history really feel about their time here. I'm sure a lot of them are like you are, where they're grateful, they made money, played in the league for a while. But I wonder, the all-time greats of people like Andre, you, soon to be Deshaun Watson. I sometimes wonder, like, because what Andre Johnson said in his tweet, he said the Texans are known for wasting players' careers, which was a hard line, man. And I'm wondering how you feel about that. Do you agree? Do you feel like the organization is? I know the organization is different now from when you were in it. You know, you don't know Jack Easterby. Bob McNair is gone now. His son is running the show. But do you feel like the organization is known for that? And is it dysfunctional in your opinion?
I mean, I can't really call it, man, because when I was there, my mindset was different. I mean, to be 100, like, I mean, this Houston fans probably gonna hate this, but it's like, man, I grew up in the ghetto, man. I grew up. I wanted to make money in the NFL, and that's what I was doing. And so I'll give you my all. Like, I'll give you my all. Like, I gave everything I had. I did everything I could to stay healthy, and I did everything I could to help the team win. But at the end of the day, I mean, the score, like, it just didn't really matter like that to me. Like, and that's probably hard for fans to understand, but it's like, I was just like, yo, I'm gonna do my job the best I can, because I think about it a little differently. And it's not like, yo, I don't care if we win or lose. It wasn't like that. It was just more like, I understand this, that there's 11 players on the field at one time. And then you have a whole nother side of the ball where there's 11 players. Then you have special teams where there's 11 players. Like, I can only do so much. Like, and even then, like, I used to, like, it was wild having your entire career and your entire livelihood based on, like, yo, if I don't have a good offensive line, I'm not going to eat. You know what I mean? That's a weird place to live in, right? So it's like, I'm only good contingent on if these guys are good. And so I was always taking care of my guys, right? But, and luckily I did. I had a good offensive line, but a lot of cats don't. And so it's like, it's discouraging. Like, I could feel great. I could do everything the right way. I could practice my ass off. I could work hard in the off season. And if my guys around me aren't clicking, we're going to lose. And so I kind of disassociated, like, the feelings from that of like, oh, we lost. Like, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. And so it's like, it sucks. Like, I wanted to win, but it's like, and so I don't look at like, yo, we wasted careers. I think they have a business they're running, just like I had a business I was running. My body was my business, and I was doing everything that I could to stay healthy and to stay on the field and to produce so that I can get as much capital as possible. That's how I looked at it. It was a business to me. And I know fans don't really understand that part. They probably can't empathize with that part, but that's what it was for a lot of us. When you look at guys like Dre, when he's a Hall of Famer, so in his mind, like, his legacy is what he was chasing, right? And I think the legacy is motivating, but I think there was a certain point in my career where I stopped giving a shit about legacy because I rationalized it in my head. Like, legacy is just like niggas arguing in the barbershop over how good you was or not, right? Like, my real legacy was like, you know, I'm giving my mother a house, I'm giving my father a house. Like, that was my legacy in my head. So it's like, I'll do everything that I can for the guys that are banging with me out here on the field. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get caught in the emotional, like, who you bringing in to help us win, or like, because it's like, I don't have no control over that, and they ain't never checking for me. And so I was like, why should I check for them? So I understand what he's saying. It's just I never really looked at it that way. But I do know that the organization, you know, they had their struggles bringing in free agents, which I never really understood. They have their struggles in communicating with players. I've always thought this about the NFL in general, but you know, my experiences with Houston was that they really didn't give a fuck about how you felt and what you said. It was like, you do what we say. And that's another, you know, variable as to why I was like disassociated from the win and loss shit, because it was like, I don't give a fuck about my input. Like, that's what I never understood. Is like, how can maybe 3 coaches tops played at that level? They just been around the game, right? And so how the fuck can you not have input for people doing that at a high level who are in it? I never understood that shit. And so once you realize that, yo, you just a chess piece, then for me, it was just like, all right, I'm just going to do what I can. I'm going to play hard, do my thing, take care of my dues, but I'm here for a purpose, just like they are.
That's a funny thing, too, the fact that fans can't empathize with that. Because I always understood that, man. Like, look, you can only do so much as one player on a team with 50-some players on it. Yeah. But I always understood because, man, most of us at our regular-ass jobs don't be trying that hard. You know, we do enough to get by. Yeah. I worked at Best Buy for like 7 years, man. I never gave a shit about being a #1 store or being I'm like, man, as long as I keep my job, and the paycheck clear, like
Yeah.
I'm straight, man. So
Yeah.
and most people at their job is like that, dog. They doing the least.
Yeah. I mean, you're really right though. Honestly, like a lot. I mean, I think the best analogy for that is backup quarterbacks, bro. That it may be one backup quarterback in the league who's like, I'm finna take this dude's spot. The majority of them are just like, man, I'm chilling. I hope this nigga don't get hurt. I'm chilling. Cause I am not like buddy who just came in for the divisional round. Chad Henne.
Yeah.
He did not want to go in that game, bro. I promise you. Bro, he just wanted to chill, put the headset on and collect checks. I promise you, dog. But like, I mean, that's how it is in general. But the difference is like there's only 32 job opportunities in your specific position. And so you got to work your ass off in order to keep that shit because niggas is coming for you behind you. So that's the difference. But it's the same concept, like as far as like dog, I'm not. Of course, niggas want to win, and I'm sure you'll find those guys, right? I'm sure you got your, your Captain Americas out there who will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. We gonna win for the Gipper." Like, sure, man. I remember one time I was watching ESPN, and it was LaDainian Tomlinson and Teddy Bruschi. They was talking, and they asked him a question. They said, "Would you rather have a Hall of Fame career or win a Super Bowl? But you can only do one." And LaDainian Tomlinson was like, "I'd rather have a Hall of Fame career." And Teddy Bruschi was like, "I'd rather win the Super Bowl." And I'm like, "Well, get your ass out of here with that bullshit." It's just such a like one for the Gipper ass attitude. I'm like, dog, if I was a Hall of Famer, I did everything in my power and I was elite. If you just won a Super Bowl, you could have been barely making a roster. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. So it's like I'll do whatever I can, but if at the end of the day I have no control over these moves, so it is what it is.
And what do the Super Bowls really mean, though? Like
nothing. You can't take that fucking trophy. They keep that shit at the facility.
Yeah, and like we used to work with Ted Johnson, who played for the Patriots, and I don't even think he know where his rings at. He kind of scoff at the rings a little bit. It's like
it's I don't know. I just look at sports differently, man. Like we live in this like hyper competitive, like you gotta be the best, bro. Go be happy, my nigga. Like.
Yeah,
we happy, man.
I feel like
it's business.
And at our jobs too, we hate that one guy who's too into it too. It's the funny thing, but we want our athletes to be too into it, but we hate that guy at our job who's too into the job, man. We're like, sit your ass down, man.
Yeah, no,
so I understand 100% what you're saying, man.
Sports is the same way. We used to call them. We used to call them cats, man.
Y'all niggas doing too much.
Yeah, them niggas, like it's like some niggas like I be rah before the game and shit.
Yes.
Watch the niggas in the back of the huddle. Watch them. They're like, bro, if this nigga don't stop this bullshit.
When Jameis Winston ate that,
that was one of the worst. Like, bro, like that's it right there. That's and no offense, he might love that shit.
What would your reaction have been if
I'd have just watched him? I'd have been like, that's wild right there.
I think it was like 10 niggas that was around watching, like, what the fuck is he doing?
Like nobody was hyped. Like it was like I don't know. I felt bad. I was embarrassed for them.
That was tough, man. I felt for him at that point, but yeah. I also want to get your thoughts on a college football. You've been very outspoken on college athletes and how it's basically extortion. People playing for free. Making these colleges a lot of money while they're putting their lives at risk, their bodies at risk. The NCAA is trying to make some changes, apparently, to where people can get paid for their likeness while in the league. I'm sure you're aware of this. Do you think this is a step in the right direction, or do you think it's just something, again, they're doing all for show or just to make the appearance that they are making some changes to help athletes when it's still the same thing? What
did they do? I missed what you said. You said they're doing what?
I believe they made some changes as to where students can get paid for their likeness now.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it was a legislation. I think it was in California, and it's going to be active 2023, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it. And so all it is they just prolonging the inevitable. This is just funny about this shit. Republicans are free market capitalists, right? They believe in a free market. the majority of people that oppose NCAA athletes are like a Republican of that Republican mindset, right? They're amateur athletes. But what they're doing is they're limiting the free market. And this is a tough conversation to get into because of all the implications. But long story short, they don't have a choice but to pay their workers. And they're gonna keep whittling away at this until they have to, all right, we got to sign these checks. I've been screaming it for years. Again, before it was popular, I got crucified when I did it. And I was on that documentary, School the Price of Sports, which is a dope documentary.
Yeah.
But now it's becoming more and more kind of like popular to chastise the NCAA because everybody's starting to realize, like, yo, this is a criminal industry. They're literally extorting cats, all under the guise of what they made up, amateur athletics. And so I think it's just they're appealing to the masses and they're just feeding them crumbs until the wall breaks. I mean, until the dam breaks, and the dam is going to break. They know it too. The dude that started the NCAA, he died, but the founder, before he died, he was like, this is unsustainable. We didn't know it was going to get to the height of what it's at now. It's unsustainable. We're going to have to change. He said that. But these old fucks at the NCAA still holding on to this shit, this amateur bullshit. And it's all nonsense. And they got the fans hoodwinked. They even got players hoodwinked. They got these cats thinking it's illegal to take money for your labor. That's literally what our country was built on. Well, free labor, but so not much has changed. But our country is supposed to be founded on free market capitalism, where you provide a service and you get paid for your service, and workers are supposed to unionize and have rights and all of this stuff. And they don't have it when it comes to college sports because they're amateurs, and it's nonsense.
I feel you, man. It really is a kind of sense of brainwashing to where everybody just accepted this as being normal. Mm-hmm. Where in any other industry you wouldn't accept anything like this, but since it's sports, it's different. So very odd dynamic there. Do you think the NCAA should have played games, college football games this year? I know we had a lot of athletes come out there crying. Trevor Lawrence made a whole statement saying we got to play, guys, when all these conferences were talking about canceling the season. And they eventually all folded and went along with it anyway. Of course, there was a lot of games canceled, and it was kind of a useless season, in my opinion, anyway. Do you think they should even play games to begin with for this season during COVID?
Nope. I don't think the NFL should have either. But people place profit over people in this country. That's just what it is. I understand kids wanting to play, and he ended up getting COVID too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I think that's the thing, man, is we don't 100% understand this virus. We don't 100% understand the adverse effects. Like one of my family members got it, and they have like heart issues where it's like their resting heart will be like 120, and it's like we don't know if that's gonna go away, if it's gonna continue. Like we don't know 100% what's gonna happen, and that shit is scary, man. And if you look at, not to get too much into politics, but if you look at how our country has handled it versus other countries, we're doing horribly. Like, dog, I just got back in town because I drove to my mother's for for Christmas. And I had been quarantined up until that point. So it's like, nobody can come over. Like I've been at the crib, and same with her, cause she's super like paranoid about it. And so I drove, but as I'm driving around, I'm like, yo, look, it looks like business is wide open. People just doing whatever they want. This was what kills me. Like niggas be in restaurants, or like they'll have a sign on a restaurant like no mask, no service, and then they go sit down at a bar and you can take your mask off. I'm like, why the fuck do you need a mask then? Like it just COVID stops when you sit at the bar. Like it's just stupid shit. But it's like literally have 400,000 deaths, people dying every single day, and the conspiracy theorists saying it's not real. So it's like it's just the world we live in. It's like I think it was a prime opportunity to show some kind of unity with our scientific community and saying like we understand the depth of this situation and all this shit can be put on hold. I think the only people that did it right was the NBA, and they literally was in a bubble. Nope, we testing and y'all ain't leaving, and like that's to me the best way to do it. But all the rest of this is just like it's silly, man.
Yeah, Figgy dealt with COVID, man. So yeah, we definitely know firsthand. Like it was rough.
Yeah, it was bad. I got it. My wife tested positive on December 8th. And I was at the station working, and she texted me like, "Hey, I think you should leave. I tested positive." So I'm like, "Oh shit." So after the show, I went to go get tested. And the test came back negative like a couple days after. But that night I was sick as hell. Like I just got super sick. And it took me like a month. I'm still trying to get over it a little bit. Like I still got my cough. I had shortness of breath. I was fatigued. I had nonstop fevers. And it was frustrating because I would go to the hospital and I felt like I would leave without really feeling better or them knowing what went on. So it's like I'm paying all this money for them to give me some Tylenol or coughing pearls or something. And it's just like, man, like I left like, man, they don't know what this is. Yeah, so I'm wasting my money.
Yeah, we don't know what this shit is yet, dog. That shit is scary, man. Like, and there's also like new strands that are evolving. It's like, dog, this shit is not over. Like, this was crazy. It's like everybody's sick of being in the house or just talking about it. But it's like this shit is still happening, and whether you like it or not. And I was like, bro, I refuse to get this shit, dog. Like, niggas cannot come over and be like, bro, you tell them like, yo, you go get tested. If they be acting like you asking them to get an STD test or something. Like, bro, got it, dog.
The thing that bothered me about the test initially, man, is like the testing centers had like a bunch of people lined up right next to each other. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if these motherfuckers really do have COVID, it's just spreading in the line while you waiting to get your COVID test, man. I wasn't a fan of that. Yeah, but are you taking the vaccine though, Arian?
When it's available,
vaccine.
I do. Okay. I trust science, man. I do. If you look at, because I did deep dives into like I'm a super science like nerd. I love science. I read physics shit. But like I did a deep dive into vaccines a while back, and I know especially the Black community, we have a super distrust when it comes to doctors, and rightfully so, man. This country has shown its colors when it comes to us. But we're living in a different age and time now, and I know that's a controversial statement. I know I can get told for that shit, but if you look at the advantages and and what vaccines have done to the human family, and it has tremendously impacted our lives and expanded our lifespans tremendously. I'm talking it's not even measurable how much it's helped us. And we know what we're doing when it comes to these things. I know people have distrust in the government and big pharma and all of this shit, but when it comes to something like this, man, I don't play with it because they actually have been predicting this for a while. Like if you follow like this, like I follow a bunch of like science stuff. Like my stepfather's a geneticist, and so just reading the literature in that area, they have been predicting some kind of virus or some kind of like even a super bug like for bacteria as well, which will probably happen in the near future because people are taking antibiotics at a high rate when they don't really need it. And so they've been predicting something like this for a while. And so it's just something that we have to, like, I'm not a virologist, right? You not a virologist. Like, niggas is not virologists. And so to sit here and say like, oh, they're trying to poison me when you have no fucking clue is just asinine. And it's I don't know, like there's certain things you just have to take a back seat for. Like, you don't know, niggas don't go to Tylenol or go get Tylenol or NyQuil and be like, man, they trying to poison me. It's like, it's Tylenol and NyQuil, dog. Like, but people for some reason feel like they know better because they auntie passed them a Facebook post and
that's the main thing, man.
That's the part that get me, because it be dudes that's out here out and about and doing all type of wild shit, but don't want to take the vaccine. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, you out here sniffing cocaine, you doing all type of shit, but the vaccines where you cross the line.
You're eating booty. Take the vaccine.
That too going wrong. Yeah, but the vaccine too much though. The conspiracy theory is starting to get on my nerves, man. I gotta say, I will entertain a lot just to keep an open mind, but the switch up is starting to kill me, man, because when somebody dies of COVID, they say, well, he was 80-something years old, but then they point to Hank Aaron getting the vaccine and he died. He was, 86, I believe, something like that, and now they're saying the vaccine killed him. So it's like,
I didn't see. I haven't even heard that one yet. Jesus Christ, man! I didn't heard that one.
That is legit going around now on social media.
Fuck.
And the vaccine killed Hank Aaron at 86 years old.
I think that's the beautiful thing about the internet is like it's a tool, and you can use that shit to really educate yourself. But it is also a tool, and you can use that to harm yourself and others. And if you just out here just try to understand, dog. I always like try to care about what you think. Try to care about that shit. Because if you're just out here and everything looks the same, then everything is the same. And all information is good information. And it's just not the case, man. It's like there's ways to fact check, there's ways to source information. And if you don't care about the process of sourcing information, then you're susceptible to all of that shit, man. And it's just a rabbit hole after rabbit hole. Next thing you know, Bill Gates is trying to microchip you and the earth is flat, nigga. It's like, dog, you gotta stop.
Poor Bill Gates had to lock his tweet about getting the vaccine because it was
not poor. The nigga is not poor.
in that financial sense.
Nah.
It was tearing his ass up for like fucking
the
whole conspiracy theorists were fucking.
No question. It's just wild, dog.
It's tough, man. It is tough. I wish people realize how simple it is to actually get real information on the internet. Google is right there, y'all. You're already on your phone.
Well, that's the thing is they don't respect. Yeah, like cats don't respect like one of my buddies, Neil Brennan, he put out this tweet the other day that was like, yo, like how do you I'm gonna fuck it up, but he said something like if you're an expert in the field, how do you say that you're an expert and give your opinion without somebody calling you an elitist? And that's what it is. It's like, yo, somebody studied their entire life, 20 years to give you this information, and you're like, I don't know, my G. I don't know, dog. I seen this post the other day that was pretty convincing. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. My favorite argument is when somebody presents some bullshit and it just tells you to go do the research.
And then they give you a YouTube link.
Yeah. That's just hilarious, man. Yeah, I like Neil Brennan too. He was tripping about that parasite shit, but besides
I told him that too. I was like, bro, you wildin'. That shit.
That's good.
That shit was amazing, dog. You wildin'.
Yeah. Yeah, he was tripping about that movie, man. But everything else, he cool though. He cool.
Yeah, that's my dude.
So we got to ask you. We are a hip hop podcast, man, and we are big fans of your work. We listened to your debut album, Cobalt, Flamingo and Cobalt. Also, you had a EP come out in last year as well, a late February. We're fans of that as well. Love your work with Jack Freeman. I feel like you guys are like the new age Jay-Z and R. Kelly before the bullshit, before the controversy happened. Like y'all sound really good together is what I'm saying, man. I'm not saying like any of y'all inside that shit. So are you still recording, and do you have a new album coming out on the horizon anytime soon?
Yeah, I've made music since I was 12 years old, man. It's one of my passions. Actually, when it was like 2011, when I was still in the league, word got around somehow that I made music, and Bun B hit me, and he was like, let's cook. And so I got a couple tracks with Bun that I'll never release. But
wait, never release?
Yeah, I ain't gonna let them fly, dog.
Man.
But we can cook on some new shit. I'll holler at him. But yeah, so I've been making music forever, so I'll always make music. I probably just there'll come a time where I'd stop releasing it. But I just actually finished another album. Actually signed with Mass Appeal. It's Nas's record label.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I just finished the masters actually like last week, and so I'm hoping to get this thing out by February. We'll see, and so I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's my best work, and I got some really dope features on there. I got Sci-Hi the Prince is on there. Jack is also on 2 of the tracks.
Okay.
Buddy that I tour with, he's a white boy, but he's nice. Marlon Craft. I did have to qualify that. That's just horrible. But
I like the qualification.
But he really is. I love him though, man. Good dude, really good dude too, man. But really nice. And so I toured with him before this COVID shit hit. Like we was on tour. Yeah, man. I'll always make that. It was my first love. So.
Okay. Well, looking forward to the new projects, man. We're definitely a big fan of it here. And yeah, we really love your work, man. So definitely, if you ever do another show again, I know shows are a distant memory because of COVID, but do another one in Houston, man. We definitely gonna be there. So
that's love. That's love.
Sure.
Do you see yourself going to another concert sometime in the future? Because I just don't feel comfortable going to a big place like that with a bunch of people now. It just seemed kind of weird.
Yeah, the funny shit, I'll be watching movies and shit now, and like there'll be a crowd or whatever. I'm like, well, niggas masks. Just like in the back of my head. But I don't think it's gonna be safe to do that until maybe 2022. Like maybe 2023. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? It just depends because America, like I got a homegirl from Australia, and she's like, they have 0 cases over there. I got somebody else was telling me there's somewhere else. I think South Korea, they're like having concerts and shit now. And so it's like, but they did what they had to do. And so it's like here, it's like we're just so stuck on my freedom that like if niggas, like little dog, if niggas just stayed inside for a month, this shit would go away. It should be gone. But they can't and they won't. And so it's like, I don't know, man. I don't really like big concerts anyways. I like little shit like House of Blues or something like that. Like I'm not like I won't go to stadiums. Like I remember I went to my last concert I went to was the Watch the Throne tour. And that was it. That was at the Toyota Center, I believe. I hated it. I love Jay-Z. He's in my opinion the best rapper ever. But like this is too many people, dog. Like it don't feel intimate. I like intimate venues with like live instruments. I like that type of feel.
Yeah.
That's what I miss the most is live music, dog. I miss that shit.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the stadium thing either, man. Like I went to go see Jay-Z at ACL a couple years ago as well. First time finally seeing him live. He's also my favorite rapper of all time. But I did not have a good time there, man. It was too many people packed up together next to each other, stanking. And you get sick when you go there. This is before COVID. You would get sick of the Petri dish and shit over there, man. Too close to people.
That's the one thing, though. Like, I'm going to keep the mask thing after COVID is done.
Yeah. Me too.
Because it's like flu cases of, I know, conspiracy theories. They take this the wrong way. They're like, well, there's no flu. Isn't that funny? Like, no, niggas wearing masks. That's why. But like, so like it lessens your chance to get that too. And like when I get the flu, I'm like a baby, dog. Like I be in a fetal position, can't move, like body be hurting. So it's like I hate getting the flu. So it's like I'm gonna do the mask thing after COVID, man.
Yeah,
I'm down with it too, man. The mask look cool as shit. Looking like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Facts.
It don't really bother you. It don't really bother me now. Like I don't mind wearing it. Like I know early on it was kind of weird, but now it's just like, man, I don't mind wearing it around people.
Nah. Yeah. I'm cool with it. I prefer it now, actually.
Yeah.
I feel you. All right, Arian, before we let you go, man, we wanted to have a little fun. We get a little conspiratorial on this podcast sometimes, just kicking around some theories that people have and decide whether we rock with it or not. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on these things, man. We'll call this Conspiracy Corner with Arian Foster. We just want to kick around some popular conspiracy theories and see what your thoughts on them are, man. So Figgy got some too. I got some as well. And I'll kick it off with the most basic one imaginable. Do aliens exist?
You want me to expound?
Do you believe they exist? And if so, to what level?
Okay. I am as certain as somebody could be that they exist. This is a universe that has, like our galaxy has billions of stars with billions of planets orbiting them. We have billions of galaxies out there. Billions upon billions of galaxies. Just the pure mathematics of life and probability, it's almost certain that life exists outside of us. So yes, I go yes.
Do you think intelligent life exists? Is there a galactic federation that is waiting to contact Earth, like has been theorized by some Israeli politician or whoever that was?
Well, he jacked that from Star Trek. So Star Trek. Are you a Star Trek fan?
Yeah, I do. I am a Star Trek fan. Deep Space Nine is a shit.
Okay, so I'm next generation, but
okay.
Have you watched the Discovery?
I haven't. I've heard some bad things, man.
No, bro, crack it open. Okay. I'm telling you, dog. Well, you have to understand it's like a prequel. So it's like this is before the original series.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of sets all of that up. And so it's like really dope how it does that. But anyway,
Enterprise was a prequel too, but that sucks. So I was kind of wary on it, but I'll check it out.
Well, Enterprise was it's actually important in the in Discovery, because the Enterprise was the Terran universe. It was another universe. So it's like,
okay.
So it makes sense. This is why Discovery is so dope. It kind of ties it all together, which is really fucking dope.
Okay.
But it's really dope. Plus the graphics are way better. Like it's fire. But yes, I would say yes. I would say the statistical probability of intelligent life. I don't know about a federation and shit. We can't even get along with ourselves. I don't know about niggas from other galaxies and shit. But I would say that intelligent life, the probability is that's a Drake equation about that. I don't know how updated it is, but there's actually an equation that says, yeah, more than likely intelligent life exists.
Okay, I'm rocking with it. I'm Figgy, do you believe aliens exist? I don't think I ever asked you this. Do you believe aliens exist?
I think so. I can't really expand on it, but I think so, man.
Okay. Okay. Well, Figgy, what's your conspiracy you want to kick?
Oh, Young, you can keep going.
Okay. Yeah. We gonna keep it basic at first. Bigfoot, does he exist?
Nah, I can't rock with that one, man. I can't rock with that one, man. Like, we got too many cell phones and shit nowadays. Like, nigga.
Here, the latest theory I heard as to why we still haven't found him is that he is a trans-dimensional being.
Oh, okay.
And somehow enter the fourth dimension at will, and we can't perceive him. Gotcha. So he comes out sometimes, and that's when the infamous pictures are taken. So
gotcha.
Last theory I heard. I don't really rock
trans-dimensional being. This nigga don't got no clothes. Got you.
I guess it's like the Stranger Things type thing or something. He's just walking through. Yeah. But okay.
Can't rock with that one, man. Can't rock with that one.
Okay. So no on Bigfoot. Okay. Let's get a little bit deeper. Did Jeffrey Epstein commit suicide?
I will preface this with I didn't look enough into it. Mm-hmm. But from what I did read, the few articles that I did read, I find it unlikely that this nigga was on suicide watch and committed suicide. But I just don't. I'll say I don't know, but I find it unlikely.
Okay.
I got one. Did Jay-Z really have 92 bricks in the trunk?
Hell no. Hell no. And that's my guy. Come on, fam. You ain't hitting no 92 bricks, dog. Niggas out here like Pablo Escobar, dog. Come on, fam. Nah.
What happened to those bricks?
Yeah, that's hip hop folklore, man. I'm not convinced.
But he said this is all facts in the line, man. He said this is all facts. I don't know Jigga to be a liar. So I don't know, man.
Rapper stress the truth, man. There's no way my nigga had 92 bricks, dog. That's a lot.
All bad. He had A1 credit, so he bought more crack.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's do that. Let's do that math. Let's see. Let's say a brick is anywhere from
17
good 15, 15 to 30, you know, depending on the season. Let's call it an even 20, right?
Okay.
Let's say you got 20 times 92. You running around with 1.8 M's worth of cocaine on you, dog? Nah. I ain't buying it.
I don't know. He had A1 credit, man. That's all I'm saying.
The nigga would have been dead.
I'm saying, man. Somebody, I can't call it.
What else coming up? Was Gucci Mane cloned? Do clones exist? That's a good one as well. But was Gucci Mane cloned when he went into prison? Did he come out a different Gucci?
Yeah, that nigga did sit-ups. Nah, man, Gucci won't clone, man.
Okay, but do you believe we have the ability to clone people?
I know we can clone sheep, and I think we've done a dog, maybe. But I'm unsure and unaware if we have that capability for humans.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still. I don't know where I am with that. I got to get deeper into the conspiracy theories to know whether I believe it or not. But the Gucci Mane clone theories were funny though, man.
They were hilarious.
At least.
Yeah, this is hilarious. I seen them.
The ice cream changed shape on his face. Don't you see that? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he was wild.
All right, I got one. Is Tupac still alive?
I was gonna ask that too.
Nah, my guy is gone, man. And that's my favorite rapper of all time. That's my favorite rapper of all time. He out of here, man. He gone. R.I.P.
I agree as well, man. I was never like looking more into it in the documentaries that came out. Like I can't see it happening. Plus, I gotta say too, like if the CIA, I love Tupac, one of my favorite rappers as well. But if I was a CIA, like Tupac was in super ignorant mode when he was killed. So I would probably keep him alive. I wouldn't assassinate. I wouldn't.
He was spitting on reporters and shit. He was wilding. Yeah.
He was going crazy, man.
He was
so
wilding.
And that's my not him.
And that's my dude though. There was like autopsy pictures and shit. Like
they said they were fake. They were fake.
Of course. CGI.
Yeah, Photoshop. They Photoshopped in 1996.
96 Photoshop. Adobe.
Okay, what else I got? Is the NBA draft rigged?
I don't think so, man. But I it's kind of wild that these niggas is really pulling balls out of a fucking thing rather than having a system. Like that shit is stupid to me. Why do they do that?
They don't show the balls no more.
They don't show the balls?
Know that. Not on TV, nah.
See, and that's how conspiracy theories start, is like no transparency. Just be transparent. But I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
I think the NBA draft is rigged for 4 reasons. Number one, the infamous Patrick Ewing to New York draft, where he had the envelope that he threw extra hard, where it bent a little bit. That was kind of shady. Number 2, Derrick Rose, Chicago getting number 1 in the Derrick Rose draft. Cleveland getting number 1 right after LeBron leaves. And also the 76ers did not get a number 1 pick all the years they tanked until they fired Sam Hinkie, who they hated for tanking intentionally. Right after they fired him, they suddenly got the number 1 pick. So I feel like it's low-key rigged, man. That's just my theory. But if they don't show the process, they just say, okay, with the number 1 pick you have, with the number 4 pick, they don't show the process of it happening. So
they should show the process. I don't think it's rigged, but they should show the process.
I agree. Was there crack in the Popeye sandwich?
It may be, dog. Cause I still be going back to that shit, nigga. That motherfucker hit, man. I don't care, man. It's that sauce, bro. I don't know. No, ain't no crack, but damn, it might be shit.
That sandwich better than Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich.
You know what's crazy is I used to go get when this whole chicken sandwich debacle popped off, and I saw it was Chick-fil-A versus Popeyes. I had never had a Popeye spicy chicken sandwich, and I was like, oh, Chick-fil-A all day, because I used to go get the number, was it 6 or something like that? I used to go get it with the large fry and the Dr. Pepper. I used to get it all the time. And then when I was like, okay, let me try it. I hit it one time. I hit it one time. It's not close. I'll never have another Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. Not if there's a Popeyes close by.
It's funny when people always discuss this, they always got to throw in, well, Chick-fil-A is so much clean and they're always neat with your food. We like, nah, nigga, we talking about the actual taste of the sandwich.
Yeah, I don't care about none of that shit. Is the sandwich good?
Chick-fil-A is fighting back though, man. They got a new chicken sandwich coming out soon. A new spiced chicken sandwich, I think. So they fighting back. The chicken sandwich wars are not over. Church's got a new one out too.
But that's how you know Popeyes was winning the battle. They ain't revamping their chicken sandwich. Chick-fil-A, that's how you know who won, dog. I'm just saying.
And nobody was really talking about chicken sandwiches like that. Now it's like KFC got a chicken sandwich, Cane's got a chicken sandwich. So everybody trying to get a chicken sandwich.
It's a war going on, man.
It's a war going on in these streets.
Man to say from. I just wish that Popeyes would stop putting niggas singing in the commercial, man. Like I wish they would.
Bad, bro. Them niggas put when they lost me when they put Jerry Rice with that fucking helmet on. Nigga.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that nigga blocked me on Twitter because I was roasting him because of it. I'm currently unblocked, but for like years I was blocked.
Oh my goodness.
And then to make it even worse, I was flaming him though. I was flaming him because I was like, bro, like how could you be that socially irresponsible to do a chicken commercial like that? But
He got knocked down 3 spots, man. He ain't
Plus, he's like a Trump supporter and shit, so it made sense to me. Yes. But so I was flaming him, and his niece is like starts defending him and shit. She's like, "Well, you don't know what he's been through." And yet I'm like, "I don't care what he's been through. That shit is irresponsible." Like we started having a real conversation about why it's bad to do a chicken commercial in that way. And then she's like, "Well, she's like, he's learning at his own pace." That's what she told me. I was like, I never knocked that, but nigga, but you Jerry Rice, you can get in touch with any black historian in this country, dog, and they'll rap with you.
It reminded me of Billy D. Williams in that Undercover Brother when he was running for president and then got brainwashed. Oh, you my new fried chicken, that is. It reminded me a lot like that scene, man.
Exactly what it was, a minstrel show. I was like, bro, what is this?
They're always trying to get niggas to sing about chicken.
100%.
Hey, blood. Crispy chicken.
That chicken for Popeye. Next little jingle.
that Mary J. Blige ad was terrible, man. I don't know what the fuck. The good thing that never officially came out.
Yeah,
you gonna catch straight bullets talking about the queen like that, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, we done criticized her acting on Power as well. She's awful.
I actually haven't. I've never watched Power.
Really?
I'm not surprised. It probably ain't your type of show. Like it's cool, but it's not. It's like it's too ignorant. I'll be honest. Like it's a show, especially later on in the seasons. It's very. If you think about things logically, like you're gonna see things happen and be like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Right.
What do you?
It always looked like a Black Days of Our Lives, like a soap opera type shit. That's what it felt like to me.
Pretty much. Pretty much like a more.
The first couple seasons were okay. The first couple seasons were okay. Yeah,
makes sense.
Now. So that wraps up the conspiracy corner. I have nothing else left, man. We'll maybe go deeper a little later, but yeah, that wraps up conspiracies. So to wrap it up, you do believe in aliens, not a Bigfoot guy. Tupac is dead, and there's no crack in the Popeye sandwich. So I'm down.
Allegedly.
What kind of TV shows you watching right now?
Shit, man. So Star Trek Discovery is a really dope one. If anybody looking for a dope TV series, it's subtitled and it's a Korean show. It's called Kingdom on Netflix. Bro, the storyline is crazy. It's a zombie. This is what I'm saying. I be telling niggas like, yo, it's a zombie movie or zombie series, and like usually zombie shit either be corny or funny or somewhere in the middle. This shit is done so well, and it's like it's probably the best cinematic view. Like if you like cinematography, gorgeous. If you like wardrobe, if you're into that kind of shit, some of the dopest shit that you're gonna see. And it's like the storyline is dope. They just did everything's done really well. It's really, really dope.
Okay, check that out. What games you playing, man?
I'm really stuck on one, man. It's called Valorant. It's a PC game.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's an FPS game. It's really dope. It's like CS:GO meets Overwatch. I don't know if you ain't in the game and you probably don't know, but
yeah, Counter-Strike, man.
Yep.
All right.
It's a really dope game.
I'll ask you that too, because I noticed a lot, because you've already spoken on things you were kind of the first to do that everybody's doing now. I feel like you and Brennan Williams, a lot of people that probably don't know Brennan Williams a whole lot from his first football career, but y'all were the first ones I really noticed that were openly doing things that went against the jock stereotype, like playing video games, talking about physics and science and other things, and things that interest you that typically people used to ascribe to only nerds pushing up their glasses and skinny and dorky and whatever. Now I see it. Everybody in NFL got their own stream. These niggas joining E-leagues and taking it very seriously, streaming all the time. Do you think you kind of helped kick that off and started kicking at that stereotype of, the athlete can't be playing video games or doing this or saying that? Do you think you kind of had a hand in changing that perspective?
I mean, I don't know if it was like me, but I know I was a part of a generation that was the liaison from the traditional athlete doing and saying the right things in interviews to nowadays you get what you get, like you are who you are. We were in that middle stage because of social media was blooming while we were in the league. And we were the first ones to kind of like, you know what, dog, this is stupid. Like, why are you asking me these dumb questions? Like, we were kind of that first generation to hold account the media. We were the first generation to like say what we felt in a way that was like genuine and in a way that was like every day. Like, you weren't going to get the cookie cutter answers from us. Like, so like me, Marshawn Lynch, like those kind of cats.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of the first ones to usher in that generation to where now it's like you expect to hear from the athlete who he is and what he is. And as though, like I said, I don't know if it's me, but like I was definitely a part of like, that's why like during my career, like people like coined me like interesting or like he's different. It's just all it was I was just me, and I'm not gonna give you the same bullshit that the rest of these cats is giving you. So I wasn't that interesting, my nigga. Like I'm interested in other shit, but I'm not that interesting.
Do you miss doing the press conferences?
Them shit's horrible. Them shit's horrible, bro. And you know what's crazy? The media is still asking the same dumbass questions. I was watching the press conference the other day. I'm like, how y'all still asking the same shit? Like, how do y'all not get this? I don't understand.
I think it's relationships with the players that the reporters want to keep. So they always want to keep it the same things you would expect. But I don't know. People don't. Yeah, the questions got to get a little better. We got some good people. You know, when the new blood starting to get in. We have some people asking better questions. Brandon Scott's a great guy for us, but yeah, it's still the same old, man.
That's wild.
It's tough to sit through.
What do you think about the Colts defense? Like, what are you gonna say, dog? Like, come on.
I ask you about a specific play, like they didn't just watch it a couple hours.
Okay. Take us through your thoughts on. Like, I don't understand that shit. How you could do that? Like, I remember when Marshawn, actually that was the year I did it in training camp when I was like, I just want to be the best teammate. I'm trying to answer the same thing throughout. I did that in training camp that year. Marshawn did that in the Super Bowl with I'm just here so I didn't get fined. And like I got land based for it. Marshawn got martyred for it. But I remember I was defending him to Stephen A. Smith. I was on First Take. And he was like, he's getting away with not answering questions to the media. And I was like, dog, like why? Like, when does the onus become on the interviewer and say, this is all I'm gonna get at him? Like, so why am I gonna keep asking him these kind of questions? And I think that's what has to change in media in general. Is like what I used to respect about, because my mother used to want to be a journalist, and so I used to listen to her as to why. It's because like it was like investigative reporting, like they were good at their jobs. But like now journalism is just like, how can you get a storyline clicked on? And it's not necessary. It has nothing to do with the substance of the story. And so like, that's why you get these, what do you think about the Colts? You're just trying to get a soundbite, a clickbait, rather than like, let me dig into this cat's past, his you know, his loves, his joys, whatever the case may be, and talk to him in a unique way about his position or his, you know what I'm saying? They don't think like that because they think you're supposed to just give them the answers. Like I remember one time I was getting interviewed, dog, and this nigga was like, what do you think about we playing San Francisco? What do you think about the San Francisco defense? I'm like, they're good. He's like, well, what's good about them? They're fast and they run around. And like, I was giving him like those answers. He's like, come on, man. I was like, I'm not going to write your story for you, dog. Like, you got to ask me something interesting. What am I supposed to say? They're good. I don't know what you want to say. And they used to call me an asshole, but. Yeah.
And I do remember that because I remember you got laying basic for that. And then the Hard Knocks with Bill O'Brien came out, and then it turns out that Bill O'Brien told all the players not to say shit to the media at all. So it kind of felt like you were just doing what was also asked of all of you to not say shit, and then you got the most flack for it. So
the Hard Knocks was a little different because I was like, dog, this is the most script. It felt like reality TV, dog. So like. Niggas would be like talking, and then the cameras would come around, and I'd be like, bro, get out of here, dog. Like I was having a conversation like one time, which would probably been entertaining TV, like, you know, because I'm an atheist, right? And so like most football players are Christian, and so like we were having a discussion in the locker room about religion, and that the camera just comes and I'm like, dog, this ain't for that. And so, and then they would be like, hey, can you guys, like, you know, and I was like, dog, it's like anytime a camera would come around during Hard Knocks, I would go the other way. I was like, I'm not trying to be on TV like that, dog. But some niggas the camera, though. So
say that line again. Say that line again.
I'm chilling, man.
Arian Foster is one of the most vocal members of the Houston Texans. You talking about God and atheism and shit. They had it planned out in their head, man.
They might have cut me right there.
Oh, you'd be cut now if you was on the team.
No question.
Yes, it's different now. So real quick, before we let you go, I do want to get your take on that because that's a more prominent discussion now. These not just the media, but the former athletes and their takes on the current athletes. I know you probably are at least a little aware of. Shaq has some words about who was it? Donovan Mitchell recently, and also he's been criticized for not knowing who Christian Wood is, things like that. And I've heard some people kind of talking about how the older athletes are kind of haters. I think it's honestly more in the NBA than the NFL, but I've seen the NFL too. Booger McFarland, I think, went on some random take. I think it was when Dwayne Haskins got cut. And I think it was Booger McFarland talking some shit about basically, well, a lot of these players these days are more concerned about their brand rather than their play on the football field. And it's starting to feel like a lot of these former players are kind of just hating on the new generation. Some of the criticism is warranted. Some of it is just kind of comes across as hating. So what's your thoughts on that, man? What do you think when you see, some of you might have looked up to or played with getting on TV and speaking about the young generation? Like, do you think that it's a fair criticism or is it starting to sound like hating now?
I always looked at it like this. The reason why we had so much disdain for the media as players was because y'all don't look at us like human beings. Like, you don't look at me as a cat from the projects who just trying to help his family get out of the situation they was in. And you think that you could just say any old thing about me. There's one thing critiquing play, right? Because that's their job, is to critique play. But a lot of it gets personal. A lot of it gets into like work ethic. A lot of it gets into like personal shit. Like you trying to create your brand or whatever. Like I always look at it like this, dog. Like there is critiques I would make, like as if I was a sportscaster, I would like, yo, I wouldn't have made that cut. You have to kind of train yourself to see this or something like that. But he did what I just don't. I'm not in there. Like I wasn't there. I'm just looking at it, and so it's like I would have done this in that situation. I would have loved to do this actually, but who knows what I would have done in the heat of the moment, right? And so he made the best decision. So I would be a boring commentator because I would never bang on somebody because I wasn't in that situation. I think cats get comfortable in the media booth. I think they get comfortable getting that check, talking shit about people, and they just get in that lane. Like, oh, this is what comes with it. Sure, man. But I think at the end of the day, it's like you gotta go look in your mirror. If you cool with criticizing young players just trying to do what they feel is the best to feed their family, then that's your mirror to look at. That's not mine. I couldn't do it. I think also I think these not even my generation, but older generation and some of my generation, they don't understand what this generation is about. And what this generation about is what that generation should have been about, because we could have had way more leverage if that was the case, but y'all niggas was scared. So what it is this younger generation understands that it's their bodies, it's their business, and that's their leverage. And so they're leveraging their stardom and their brand to their advantage. Mm-hmm. And if they would have understood that in the 80s and the 90s more so, then we would have had an easier walk. And then the younger cats would have had an easier walk. And who knows, maybe they would have had health insurance for players lifetime, because they currently do not. And so that's what that comes down to me. And so it's like, instead of discouraging young players and be like, all you care about is your brand, it's like, yo, this is how you curate your brand. And if you really gave a fuck, you go tap in with the cats instead of blasting them on the television. That's corny, in my opinion. Go holler at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but understand that this is a business, and that's what he's doing that he feels like is best for his business. Because when it's all said and done, you look at it, dog. Like, there's some cats who barely make the Pro Bowl who have crazy amount of social media followers, right? But then there's some cats who are Hall of Famers who are like 20,000, 10,000 social media followers, right? So it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it does, because that's capital, that's social capital, and you can use that as leverage to have another revenue stream. And so that's understanding your brand. That's what business is. And so I would not discourage cats to do that. I would encourage them to do that, but curate it in a way that you're proud of, and curate it in a way that you feel it the best represents you. All of that other shit, man, it's just like, what's the point? Like, you don't get tired of black people talking about black people in the media, man. Shit gets old. We got enough to deal with. Like, why would you encourage that?
Yeah, it's irritating.
It really is, man. It's unfortunate because like these people also face those same comments when they play too. So it's like you doubling down on the hate, man. You ain't paying it forward. You ain't trying to do shit. So very unfortunate. But I think unfortunately some people, and I got to call people like Shaq too, they like to see their names in the headlines. They like to be the center of conversation. So that's why they like to say these hot takey comments about players, because they do enjoy on some level their name being in the headlines. So unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I don't know Shaq really, like
that. So really appreciate you joining us, Arian. Really, really great conversation, man. Think you have anything else you want to get in real quick?
Real quick, do you think Deshaun is moved, or do you think he played his last snap as a Texan?
I haven't really been following the situation. I was having a conversation with my brother about it earlier today. He was kind of filling me in on what's going on. I guess he'd been lied to and stuff like that.
They got a chaplain in the team pretty much.
He what?
I said they got a chaplain running the team pretty much. So
yeah, and that was the dude I had never heard of till Dre tweet. Yeah, I mean I don't know. There's no telling, man. But if I'm the organization, I've been to his will. There's no way you don't. Like he's a generational quarterback. You've never had a quarterback like him. You're not gonna have a quarterback like him in the next who knows how many decades. You've been to his will. What do you need to keep you here? What would keep you here? Like, what do you want? What do you need? Do you want to be involved? Because like I remember when Peyton Manning was with the Colts, he was in the draft room. He had that much pull because that was his squad. Like you're not going without Peyton. And so if you have that kind of generational talent, get them involved. What do you think this team needs? What do you like? You know what I'm saying? And this is where we think like get your players involved that are generational talents. Like, but that's the NFL, man. They have so much egos. This is our like, all right, we'll see how you win with the bottom tier players. You can't.
Yeah, and you said it earlier. They don't really care about what you think. It's all about them.
But if they're smart, they'll bend to his will. If they're smart.
What do you want?
Because I think that's the biggest farce in a lot of these like trade deals and stuff. Like, oh, he's worth a first rounder and a third rounder. Oh, he's worth, I heard recently like he was worth like 3 first round or something like that. Like, dog, you could have 5 first round picks and you're not going to get a talented quarterback like that. You could have a first round pick every year for the next 10 years and you're not going to get a talented quarterback like that. Maybe. But you already have one, so why not just invest in this one? There's just it don't make no sense.
It's stupid, man.
It really is, man. And you think there's so many easy things they could do to fix this that they just won't do. So I think you're right about it just being about ego and people want to stand on their own feet and just do their own thing and whatever they say goes. But if Deshaun reaches out to you and asks you, hey, Aaron, what should I do, man? What would you advise him to do if he called you, if he hit you up and told you about his problems with the organization? What would you advise him to do?
I would say use your leverage. Whatever you want to do. If you want to stay here under the guise of I'm going to be involved in decision making. Let me help curate bringing talent in. Let me help recruit talent coming in. Like give me a say so on where this organization is heading, because I'm going to be the guy for the next 10 years, right? And if you don't think that's going to happen, use your leverage and say I want out, leave. Because you only got one body, man, and that shit. And and everybody says this when you get in the league, like, man, as soon as you hear it's over, man. And I used to hear these old cats talk. It was like whatever, but it's like it happens to everybody, dog. You wake up one day, you're like, damn, nigga, I'm 30. Shit went. Like it happens, and now you got kids, and now you gotta live your life. So live this shit how you want to live it, because like these motherfuckers don't care about you, nigga. Calvin, they don't give a fuck about Arian Foster or Andre Johnson or fucking Jacoby Jones, or you know the cats that I bled with. They don't give a fuck, and so like I ain't an afterthought in them cats' minds. So like don't allow them to make you think that you are now, because you're not. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and the crazy part is I feel like Deshaun ain't even asking for that much. He just kind of want a little input, and they not even listening to that.
But you should.
Yeah.
The fans get upset when you even saying this, but me, I've always sided with the players, man. I'm more of a fan of. I enjoy watching the games, but I'm not like a super homer like that. You know, I just watch it. So I'm always down for Deshaun doing what's best for him, man. Like I love to see him play in Houston for the rest of his career. But if he doesn't, I will understand. Like I'm not gonna cry over it. This is the man I don't know. So
yeah, he gotta do the best.
People got to grow up a little bit.
That's what cats don't understand. I was like, think about it, my nigga. The New England Patriots hadn't missed the playoffs since like what, 2002 or 90, maybe like 99 or some shit like that. Some crazy, right? Almost 20 years or whatever. Tom Brady leaves and they miss the playoffs. Don't got shit to do with coaching, bro. You can't coach shitty players, bro. That's just what it is. And I'm not saying they players are shitty, but I'm saying there's a certain caliber of player that you have in Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. If I'm Robert Kraft, I'm like, dog, what do we got to do to keep you here? I'm not letting you get out of here. And he's like, yo, I can't take Bill Belichick anymore. Like, get him out of here. It's Tom, bro. It's not the system. Like, I used to laugh when I was in the league when I used to hear niggas say, oh, it's the Patriot way. You hear the media say, oh, it's the Patriot way. I used to laugh at this shit. Like, it's some shit to do with the Patriot way, nigga. It's the Tom Brady way. He's the greatest quarterback to ever live. There's nothing to do. Like, Michael Jordan said in his Hall of Fame speech, players put coaches in the Hall of Fame. Players win championships. Like, coach, that you can have good coaches. The best coaches understand that. Phil Jackson. I'm gonna let my cookers cook. Everybody else is just it's ego. It's an ego-driven league. It's an ego-driven business, and it's like you think you can just place players in, and they're gonna do with your system. Nah, nigga. You need dogs out there, and the dog's gonna get you where you need to go.
That's true, man. No hate to Cam Newton. I like Cam Newton. I like the fact that they stuck with him, but he ain't Tom Brady, man.
Love him. He's not Tom Brady
this year.
Love Cam.
So Figgy, anything else you got, man?
Nah, I think that's it, man.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you joining us, man. Really, we're looking forward to this, and it went spectacularly. I know it's going to be a great podcast we put together. So really appreciate it, man. Do you have anything else you'd like to promote real quick, or anything you're working on? You want to let people know, streaming and whatnot?
Yes, I mean, if you just follow my socials, I mean, Arian Foster on Twitter, Bobby Fino on IG, and I got a Twitch. That's Bobby Fino too, I believe. Check out the music, but I just treat each other nice, man. This shit goes, dog.
Or you might get an angry tweet from you.
That's the one thing I'm active on is in social media, is Twitter. So I'll fire right back. You better be funny.
Yeah, Arian's a great follow on Twitter, man. If you ain't following him, follow him, man. It's always entertaining watching his timeline, watching him go back and forth with ignorant people. So it's hilarious, man. Have a lot of fun looking at it. So shoot. Really appreciate it, man. Stay good, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime, man.
Much love, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Take care.
All right, doggy.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
No doubt. Appreciate y'all.
All right.